What's up, Nacogdoches? And I'm Justin Hinkle, and welcome to this edition of Jack Talk. On today's episode, we'll be taking a look at campus living, dive into SFA's Greek Rush, and we'll share with you the top 5 local Nacogdoches restaurants. All of this coming up on Jack Talk. Tell him only to... Welcome to this edition of Jack Talk. It's fall once again, freshmen are rolling into campus, and that means the dorms are filling up. SFA has many different living facilities with different amenities at each one of them. Now, lucky for y'all, on Jack Talk, we brought 2 resident assistants to tell us about their life in the dorms. Introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Shay. I'm the hall director of Steen West.
And I'm Jessica Stout. I'm the hall director in Steen East.
Oh, I see. So we got a little east-west rivalry going on here.
Absolutely.
Of course.
That's funny. So what exactly is y'all's role as hall directors?
So basically our main job is to be a resource to the residents. We don't provide them just housing, sort of a roof over their heads. It's more of we're here to support them in any way that we can. So if they're having problems with their academic life, if they're having any problems with their roommates or anything, we're the people that they come to and they talk out those problems and we try and get them to the best resource that we possibly can.
Very interesting. It's nice to see that somebody's got the back of those scared little freshmen when they get on campus.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Now, I'm sure, the first week of school, it must be crazy. It must be crazy. All the people moving in and, I'm sure tons of kids don't know what to do. What are some of the things you kind of encounter that first week?
Well, the first week, obviously, like you said, the craziness of move-in. So you've got everyone coming in from everywhere, not exactly knowing what to do. So answering tons of questions from the students, like where's Walmart is, the typical one. Parents making sure that their kids are safe on campus. So where is UPD? Where can they go to if they want to study? So just answering a bunch of questions is literally what that entire first week is about. So just making sure that you're there and visible for the students. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Now, most of y'all work in Steen, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that is a exclusively freshman dorm?
The largest freshman hall on campus.
The largest freshman hall on campus.
Yeah.
There's a little fun fact for you, Jack Talk listeners.
Yeah.
So y'all deal with freshmen pretty much exclusively. Have y'all encountered really a difference in dealing with the freshmen as opposed to like a sophomore or junior who's been here for a while and kind of knows? What are kind of some of the differences, with freshmen?
Absolutely. Well, I was a hall director also at Mays and Hall 10, and those are exclusively upperclassmen halls. And so it's a fun job over there, but you also don't really feel like you're as needed as much, which is sort of a downer for us because that's what our whole job is about, is being needed. Upperclassmen, they kind of already have their lives together. They already know the resources on campus. So the big challenge for us is if you're working as a hall director for an upperclassman hall is to really get them involved and getting them to know each other versus just to know their friends on campus.
Yeah. Okay. I would say the exact same thing. That's why I chose to, I really emphasized that I wanted to work in a freshman hall was because they're out there the most. They want to see new things. So upperclassmen, they're a little bit behind the scenes. They already know what's going on. So
very interesting. Well, that's good. Y'all want to serve a purpose. Y'all actually would like to help the freshmen and make sure they've got their feet set rather than running around like scared little 18-year-olds.
Absolutely.
Now I have to ask, I know personally when I first came to SFA I got a little homesick. And I assume, the new freshmen coming in, I mean, they're living on their own for the first time, and it's just a scary experience. Do you ever have to deal with kids that are, feeling homesick and try to help them?
Yeah.
Oh boy, you're both just
Yes.
nodding.
Yes. Typically, I will tell them to talk to their CA, or if they're not comfortable with their CA, coming and talking to me. The CAs, they're like resident assistants in other campuses, if that's the more common term. Basically, they can just talk to them, say, hey, you want to go have lunch? Try to get them involved in things. Like at Steen, they have the Involvement Center. So they could go there, see if there's any clubs that they were particularly interested in high school, and they can go do that here at SFA possibly. So just trying to get them involved and talking to people. That way they're not stuck alone in their room. Yeah. So.
Very good, very good. It's nice to see y'all pushing them, get involved with the campus and such.
Yeah.
Now I know, again, personally from my experience, I didn't come here with anybody. My roommate was a completely random person. I'd never met him before in my life, and that was really a worry with me. Now luckily, we got along really well, and he was a great friend, but I'm sure you have those situations where, someone gets a roommate and they don't click. Do y'all deal with conflicts with,
Yes.
New roommates and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta give me an example.
That's probably one of our main jobs, especially the first
Really?
3 months of school. What we try to do is try to tackle it at the very beginning. So we do roommate contracts, which we have both roommates sit down with the community assistant and go over their terms of agreements and what they prefer and everything. And then if it boils over within the next couple of weeks, we're right there to kind of help them out and mediate whatever we can. We try not to move people as much as possible. We're more focused on getting people to grow up and really get to know each other and embrace differences rather than shy away from them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. Well, it sounds like y'all, really have these kids' best intentions at heart. And I'm sure, for parents out there watching and, a student at SFA, it's nice to hear that there are students that are looking after, these young kids in these freshman halls. Y'all really seem to have a good thing going. It's awesome. I'm glad we got to bring y'all on.
Well, thank you.
Now, after the break, we're going to take a look at Greek life, what exactly they're doing this fall semester, and later on, we've got that top 5 local Nacogdoches restaurants countdown. Keep us tuned in right here on Jack Talk. Well, the beginning of the fall semester is here, and that means one thing for the Greek community, and that's Rush. Freshmen are coming into campus wide-eyed and very curious about the different things Greek organizations can offer here at SFA. 2013 marked one of the most successful formal rushes in SFA history, and our team here at Jack Talk got to experience the tradition firsthand. So let's take a quick look at Greek life. I would say a successful rush after looking at that video was a bit of an understatement.
No joke, man.
Now, lucky for our viewers today, we have brought my good friend Jacob Isaacson, the Vice President of IFC. Now, Jacob, why don't you tell our viewers what exactly IFC is and what your role is as the Vice President?
IFC, it's the Interfraternity Council, and it's the executive council that was elected by all 16 fraternities to oversee everything and make sure everything goes smoothly so that we can have a very successful rush, which is what happened. We just make sure that there's no conflicts amongst the fraternities, and if there are any, we handle it, and we collect all the money so that we can put on all the great events that we do.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure some of our viewers out there have heard the term rush, but probably aren't exactly familiar with what it is. Do you think you could explain exactly what rush is?
Absolutely. Well, rush, it's a 2-week process. The first week is informal rush, and that's just a good time for all the new students, freshmen, transfer students, and just people who aren't fraternities in general, just to get to know all the chapters at SFA and see what they entail and what they can provide for them. So with that being said, after that week becomes formal rush, and all the 16 chapters, they have events at their homes or on campus at the rec center or somewhere where they can just get to know them better. You know, there's flag football games, barbecues, all that good stuff. And at the end of the week, that's when you really truly click with certain fraternities, and that's when they decide if they want you and you decide if they want them, and it all comes together, and it's great. That's why our rush was so well put together this year, and we had the most successful rush that we've had ever.
Wow. You heard it here first, people. Most successful rush ever. Now, what would you say kind of the benefits of joining? You know, sometimes fraternities kind of get a negative connotation. You know, there's movies like Animal House and all those things that give them a bad rep. But what would you say some of the real benefits are of joining a Greek organization like a fraternity?
It's a brotherhood. It's a lifelong relationship that you're building with people that truly care about you and have your back 110% of the time. And beyond that, when it comes to going into your professional life, there are connections galore, like for days. 75% today of just getting a job is just who you know. And, you know, knowing people from your organization that are successful, they can put you in the door to great things and hook you up with a job, because it's hard, as we know, getting out of college right now. So if you have someone that you know and sees your skills and can help you apply them, then you're going to be looking pretty solid to get a job.
Yeah, that's awesome. And fraternities, you know, I'm in a Greek organization myself, and I'll say, you know, I know plenty of brothers that have graduated over the last few years, and they've gotten connections that have led to careers because of the fraternity they joined. You know, they've met alumni and different things, and they've gotten great opportunities from that. Now, Rush is, of course, about all those kids that are all about it. They're going to join a fraternity. They're just trying to decide where we're going to go. But what would you say personally to someone who might be a little hesitant to join a fraternity?
It's definitely something that everyone should look into. Myself, I wasn't going 110% just gung-ho about it when I was a freshman. You just get to know people, and there's different chapters for a reason. Every single chapter is different. You know, some fraternities are all about sports, some about, you know, philanthropy, others about academics, and you'll fit in somewhere. So it's really good just to get to know people.
I would agree. Branching out at this campus is, you know, definitely important. You want to make sure you're getting to know everybody and, you know, dipping your toe in all the water, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Now, let's get back to you personally just for a minute. What's it like for you not only being a leader in your individual chapter, but also having to be a leader in IFC? You know, you've got to lead your guys, but then you've got 16 other chapters that are looking up to you at the same time. That must be a lot of pressure.
Yes, sir, but I enjoy it. I mean, it's just something that I like going through every single day is all these guys, they look up to me, so it makes me a better person. So it just, you know, it makes me organize my time very well so I can know when I need to get things done. So it's really enjoyable, and it's, you know, it's stressful, but at the same time, you just wake up with a bright smile every day and get things done, and it has lots of benefits, and I enjoy it a lot.
At the end of the day, it's worth it. And, you know, I'm sure doing this not only with your chapter, but with the other, you know, 16 chapters, it's definitely going to give you lessons that, you know, you're going to carry into your career and for the rest of your life.
Yes, sir.
Well, Jacob, thank you so much for coming on. Now, up next on Jack Talk, we took a survey of SFA and the Nacogdoches community, asking what they thought their top 5 local restaurants were. We've got the countdown for you coming up after the break. Welcome back to Jack Talk. Now our team here took a survey of SFA and local Nacogdoches citizens, and we were curious what they thought the top 5 local restaurants were. Now lucky for y'all, we've got the results here, and they might just surprise you. So let's hop right into it with our number 5 pick. If you're looking for good Chinese food in Nacogdoches, look no further than Peking Chinese Restaurant. Located conveniently at the intersection of North and Austin Street, visitors can choose to dine in, or if you're in a hurry, simply go through their conveniently located drive-thru right off of North Street. No matter how you choose to enjoy their extensive Chinese menu, you can't go wrong with our number 5 pick on our countdown, Peking Chinese food. Pick Peking Chinese. Now, lucky for y'all, I've got my good friend Patrick Broadwell here. Patrick has worked in the food service industry for over 12 years now, knows the ins and outs, so he's going to give us a little analysis. Now, there's a lot of other, options for Chinese food in Nac, but what sets Peking aside and makes them a little better than the others, giving them the number 5 spot?
Well, I can first say that as far as Chinese food goes, Peking would be at the top of the list. I mean, as far as convenience goes, drive-through, at least in this kind of world, is very important. I mean, being able to drive up, drive through, get your food. And Chinese food is not personally my favorite, but I respect the fact that Peking has always been a very good marketable place, and I know they have good business, and I never hear anything bad about it, really.
Yeah, I will agree. Now, it's the number 5 pick. What do you think kind of stopped it from getting number 4, number 3? What held them back just a little bit?
Goodness, well, I mean, we could easily start with the size of the restaurant really isn't that big. I mean, if you go there with a small group of people and maybe you bring your 3 or 4, family members with you, but you can't have a major party, as far as catering goes and stuff like that. It fits for a small group of people that really like the Chinese food here in Nacogdoches.
Yeah. Well, there's your number 5 pick, Peking Chinese food. Now it's time to move on to number 4. When it comes to Mexican food here in Nacogdoches, few places top Jalapeno Tree. With authentic Mexican cuisine and culture being their calling card, I think it's about time you made a stop by our number 4 pick, Jalapeno Tree. There you have it, Jalapeno Tree, number 4. Now, our buddy Patrick, didn't you actually work at Jalapeno Tree for a little while?
I did. In fact, I started as a busboy, and so I got the whole ins and outs as far as just cleaning up after people and all that. But eventually, I took my server test, and let me tell you, one of the reasons Jalapeno Tree is very successful is their server test is very detailed. If you won't work at Jalapeno Tree and be a bad server, so when you go to Jalapeno Tree, your service will be top notch. The food almost always is, always above the average of, say Posados or maybe even your drive-through Taco Bell. Taco Bell is obviously convenience, but, another thing with Jalapeno Tree is they've got a huge section for big groups. I've done 10 birthday parties, a graduation party, all this kind of stuff, and the business does not do poorly at all.
Well, there you have it, your number 4 pick, Jalapeno Tree. Now let's keep chugging right along to our number 3 pick. Clear Springs here in Nacogdoches is actually located in what was once the first refrigerated warehouse west of the Mississippi River. Located next to a busy rail yard, this warehouse was ideal for getting food and supplies to people all over Texas and the rest of the United States. Nowadays, Clear Springs boasts the best catfish in Texas as voted by Texas Highway Magazine. So come down for some authentic Texas food and many other things at our number 3 pick, Clear Springs Cafe. Be told, Clear Springs has just about everything you're looking for in a restaurant in Nacogdoches. A lot of times if you want to go out to a good dinner, you've got to drive all the way to Lufkin to go to a nice restaurant. But Clear Springs gives you that option right here in town. Wouldn't you say?
I couldn't agree more. I love the fact that there's historic significance behind the place. That's just cool, right? how cool is that to say that you ate in one of the first places? A refrigerating thing, that's very unique, and yet, Nacogdoches is known for being unique. And the food and stuff, I mean, I can't think of a better place to go on a date as far as that.
Yeah, I'll
I mean,
agree
if
with
you
that.
if you go on a date with your significant other at Clear Springs, you made a good choice.
Yeah, absolutely. The price is good, the food's good, the menu's extensive enough, gives you a little bit of everything to offer. I mean, you really can't go wrong. It almost surprised me that Clear Springs wasn't a little higher on our list. To be honest.
I thought Clear Springs was going to be fighting for that #1 spot personally.
Well, speaking of moving up on our countdown, we've got to go straight to our #2 pick, and it might just surprise you a little bit. When the Fuzzy's taco chain first arrived in Nac, it didn't take long to explode into what has become Nac's favorite Mexican food restaurant. With a family-first attitude and SFA pride everywhere you look, Fuzzy's Tacos is a perfect choice for the student on a budget or a family trying to enjoy a night out on the town. Because of this versatility, Fuzzy's has found itself at our #2 pick of Nac's favorite restaurants. You have it, #2 Fuzzy Tacos. Now it's kind of interesting to think a sit-down restaurant like Jalapeno Tree, Mexican food, wound up #4, but Fuzzy's wound up #2. And I've got to say, it's the SFA pride in there, it's the good food, and the drinks that they offer. Now, we've got to go straight to our #1 pick, the best local restaurant in Nacogdoches. Located right off Main Street, Annie Pastas might just be the finest eating establishment in all of Nacogdoches. With exquisite Italian dishes that won't break the bank, Annie Pastas is the perfect date location for you and that special someone. They specialize in combining the laid-back, easygoing feeling that Nacogdoches brings with an exquisite Italian menu that will leave you smiling every time. So, if you go nowhere else on our top 5, make sure you take a trip down Main Street and visit our #1 pick, Annie Pastas, Nac's best local restaurant. There it is, your #1 pick, not one better restaurant in Nacogdoches. Now, thank you all very much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed us, and we'll see you next time on Jack Talk. I'm Justin Hinkle.
I'm Patrick Broadwell.
Peace.
Go Jacks.